The question about possible and impossible was one that was brought to us 4 years ago. We arrived not yet knowing what was not possible. Our attitudes are easily understood having grown up, having come to consciousness in the first 5 years of this decade, years dominated by men with dreams, men in the civil rights movement, the Peace Corps, the space program. So we arrived at WLC and we found, all of us have found, that there was a gap between expectation and realities. And it wasn't a discouraging gap, and it didn't turn us into cynical, bitter old women at the age of 18. It just inspired us to do something about that gap. What we did is often difficult for some people to understand. They ask us quite often, why, if you're dissatisfied, do you stay in one place? Well, if you didn't care a lot about it, you wouldn't stay. It's almost as though my mother used to say, I'll always love you, but there are times when I certainly won't like you. We worked for a say in some of the process of academic decision making, and luckily we were in a place where, when we questioned the meaning of liberal arts education, there were people with enough imagination to respond to that questioning. And so we have made progress. We have achieved some of the things that we initially saw as lacking that gap between expectation and reality. Our concerns were not, of course, solely academic, as all of us know. We worried about inside WLC questions of admissions, the kind of people that were coming to WLC, the kind of people that should be coming to WLC, the process for getting them here. Our love for this place, coupled with our freedom from the burden of an inauthentic reality, allowed question basic assumptions underlying our education. So we've made progress. We have achieved some of the things that we initially saw as lacking that gap between expectation and reality. Our concerns were not, of course, solely academic, as all of us know. Many of the issues that I've mentioned, those of sharing passion and responsibility, those of assuming power and responsibility, have general concerns on campuses throughout the world. But underlying those concerns, there's a theme in which so trite and so old because of the worlds are so familiar. It talks about integrity and trust and respect. Words have a funny way of trapping our minds on the way to our tongues, but there are necessary means, even in this multimedia age, for attempting to come to grasp with some sort of inarticulate, maybe inarticulate things that we're feeling. All of us exploring a world that none of us understands and attempting to create within that uncertainty. With the context of society that we perceive, now we can talk about reality. And I would like to talk about reality sometime. Authentic reality, inauthentic reality, and what we have to accept of what we see. But our perception of that hovers in between the responsibility of disaster and potentially for imaginatively respond to men's needs. The struggle for integrated life existing in the atmosphere of communal trust and respect is one with desperately important political and social consequences. And the war consequences, of course, catapults us into the future. One of the most tragic things that happened today, a beautiful day, was that when I was talking to a woman who said that she wouldn't want to be me for anything in the world, she wouldn't want to live today and look ahead to what it is she sees because she is afraid. Fear is always with us. We just don't have time for it. Not now.